Ray needles the rooftop as neon swims below. Ava steadies her breath and steps into the light. She says, "Luca, I love you," and the city seems to flinch. The word love lands hard, bright as a flare. Luca's grin looks brave and terrified. He says, "Say it again." Jordan slips from the dark like a rumor with shoes. His phone glows between them like a blade. A headline snarls about Luca's secret engagement. No day. Ava freezes as music dies mid-beat. She says, "Is this a joke?" Luca says, "It's complicated." Jordan says, "It's public." Laughter from another table turns brittle. Ava feels the night tip under her feet. She says, "You asked me to trust you." Luca reaches out but stops short of her wrist. Thunder rolls over their silence. She says, "Don't touch me." Somewhere a glass cracks. The city keeps shining like it has no conscience. Ava bolts for the stairwell, her heels slapping rusted metal. The night breathes wet air into her lungs. Maya calls before the first tear escapes. Maya says, "Where are you?" Ava laughs without humor and says, "Falling." The street hisses with taxis and gossip. Her phone blooms with alerts, each one a sting. Ethan's name flickers with a simple, "Are you safe?" A siren shreds the distance and folds away. Ava says, "I told him I loved him." Maya says, "Then you told the truth." Ava leans into cold brick until it steals her heat. She says, "He is engaged, and I am ridiculous." Maya says, "You are human." A bus roars by and leaves a smell of rain and diesel. Ava stares at her shaking hands and wills them still. She says, "I can't do this again." Maya says, "Then do it different." The sky answers with a patient rumble, as if time refuses to hurry. Luca finds her under a flickering awning, rain stitching silver lines. He says it was arranged. Ava says, "You arranged my humiliation." He says, "It protects my career, not my heart." His voice shakes like he hates needing anything. Traffic throws light across their faces and keeps moving. Ava says, "You begged me for honesty." Luca says, "I wanted time." She says, "You stole time from me." A bike bell rings and vanishes into the storm. "You," he says, "I choose you when it matters." She says, "It mattered tonight." Luca looks small for the first time she has known him. He says, "I am trying to be brave." Ava says, "Be brave without me." Thunder answers like a judge who has heard enough. They stand still while the city pretends not to watch. Water pools at their feet and carries away the last warm thing. And a black sedan ghosts to the curb and idles. Ethan steps out with quiet shoulders and an umbrella. He says, "Get in." Ava flinches at the kindness like it might bruise. Luca hangs back, a shadow losing its claim. Ethan meets his eyes and says, "She decides." The umbrella becomes a small country that takes them in. The car smells like cedar and calm. Ethan says, "I can take you home or nowhere at all." Ava says, "Home is a rumor." He says, "Then I will drive toward it." Her breath steadies because someone is steady. Luca calls her name, and the sound breaks on the rain. Ethan does not look back. Ava says, "I am so tired of choosing wrong." Ethan says, "Then choose rest." The door thumps closed like a period she needed. The city recedes, and her reflection follows in the glass. She does not promise anything, but she lets the quiet hold her. Ava stares at her apartment like it belongs to someone braver. The kettle hums to pretend life is normal. Her phone vibrates, a small trapped animal. Jordan has sent a link with a winking face. Her chest goes cold as comments bloom like mold. She says, "You wanted a spectacle." Jordan replies, "The truth wants light." She kills the screen, and the room grows kinder. The window breathes fog, and rain crawls down the glass. She whispers, "I am not a headline." Ethan texts, "I am downstairs if you need me." She closes her eyes and counts the ache. She says, I need the version of me that survived. The refrigerator clicks and sounds like applause. She laughs and hates the sound. Outside, a siren moves away. Inside, the silence chooses a side. She pours tea she will not drink and watches steam vanish. The night waits for her decision and refuses to help. Morning light crawls across Ava's blinds like it's ashamed to be there. She sits curled on the couch, blanket cocooned. Maya's voice leaks through the phone. Maya says, "Eat something." Ava mutters, "My appetite left with my pride." Dettel hisses, mocking her silence. Maya says, "You think one betrayal cancels every truth." Ava says, "It cancels me." A neighbor's dog barks at nothing. Maya says, "You are not nothing." Ava touches the mug she poured hours ago, the surface cold. She says, "He made me the villain in his own love story." Maya sighs, "Let him choke on it." Ava laughs dry and says, "Easy for you to say." Maya says, "I say it because you forget who you are." Ava leans back, staring at the ceiling cracks like they might answer. She whispers, "I don't know who that is anymore." Outside, the city hums without her permission. At noon, Ava forces herself outside, streets steaming after morning rain. She hugs her coat as if armor. A billboard sneers Luca's smile, larger than life. She mutters, "Even the sky sells him." A vendor calls coffee, and she flinches at the kindness. Jordan steps from a corner cafe with casual cruelty. He says, "You look fragile." She replies, "You look poisonous." He smirks, "Poison tastes sweet first." She clenches fists until her nails leave crescents. Jordan says, "You should thank me. The world knows now." Ava says, "You wanted blood, not truth." Cars honk in a restless rhythm. He shrugs, "Truth always bleeds." Ava glares and walks fast, the crowd swallowing her. She whispers, "You will not write my ending." Behind her, Jordan laughs like someone who already has. Library silence feels like mercy. Ava traces spines of books like they might steady her. Ethan appears at her table with 2 coffees. He says, "I figured you wouldn't eat." She says, "You figured right." He sets it down, no questions, no demands. The fluorescent lights buzz softly, like reluctant witnesses. Ethan says, "You don't need to explain." Ava says, "Then why are you here?" He replies, "Because silence is less cruel with company." She studies him as if searching for cracks. He meets her eyes steady, hands loose on the table. She says, "You should run before I ruin you too." He says, "I'm not afraid of ruins." Her lips almost twitch into something like relief. The clock ticks and the world forgets them for a moment. Ava whispers, "I wish time could stay this kind." Ethan only nods, as if he's already keeping her secret. Night folds over the river, lights dragging across black water. Ava stands on the pedestrian bridge, fingers cold on the railing. She says, "I don't know if I can start over." Luca's voice cuts from behind. "You don't have to." She turns slow, his face haloed by city glow. She says, "You shouldn't be here." He steps closer, jacket unzipped like he forgot the weather. He says, "I didn't lie to you about my heart." She says, "You lied about everything else." His throat works like swallowing glass. "I was trying to protect us." She shakes her head, "You destroyed us." A ferry horn moans low across the water. He says, "I love you." She whispers, "That word died on the rooftop." Wind carries her voice away, leaving only echoes between steel beams. Maya's apartment smells of candles and takeout, safe in its clutter. Ava sinks into the couch, knees pulled close. Maya hands her tea, eyes steady. She says, "You let him near you again." Ava says, "He always finds me." Maya replies, "Then stop being still." Ava snaps, "I can't erase my heart overnight." Maya sighs, "No one can. But you can choose what feeds it." Silence holds between them, heavy and honest. Ava says, "I am tired of being someone's secret." Maya touches her hand and says, "Then stop agreeing to it." The words sting because they are true. Ava blinks tears that won't fall. She whispers, "I don't know if I deserve better." Maya says, "That's the lie he sold you." A siren hums far away, but in this room, Ava feels almost human again. Rain returns like a curse, tapping on the cafe windows where Ava hides. She watches strangers laugh and feels locked outside joy. Luca walks in uninvited, damp hair curling at his temples. He says, "You keep avoiding me." She replies, "Avoidance is survival." His jaw tenses. "I never meant to betray you." Ava says, "Intent doesn't erase wounds." The waitress sets down coffee, sensing tension like static. Luca leans forward, whispering, "I can end the engagement." Ava says, "Then you'll end your world." He whispers, "You are my world." Her throat burns with anger that feels too much like longing. She says, "Your words weigh nothing anymore." A storm gust rattles the windows. Luca's hand inches across the table, but Ava pulls hers into her lap. Silence builds until even the rain sounds judgmental. Later, Ava drifts through a crowded gallery opening, her dress clinging with effort at normalcy. Maya joins, whispering, "This crowd doesn't deserve you." Ava forces a smile. Across the room, Jordan sips champagne like poison made elegant. He says loudly, "Lovers make such tragic muses." Heads turn. Ava stiffens, heat flooding her chest. Maya mutters, "Ignore him." Jordan continues, "Secrets taste better in public." Ava says, "You feed on my ruins." Jordan grins, "They're beautiful ruins." The gallery buzz shifts from art to scandal. Ethan arrives, shoulders wide as he cuts through whispers. He says to Jordan, "She owes you nothing." Jordan smirks, "She owes truth." Ava shakes, trapped between shame and rage. Ethan touches her elbow and says, "Walk with me." She lets him lead her past stairs and broken frames of strangers' opinions. On a rooftop parking deck, Ethan shields Ava from the city noise. She says, "I am tired of being paraded like a scandal." He replies, "Then stop letting them decide the script." Her voice cracks, "What if they're right about me?" Ethan's gaze steadies her. He says, "You are not their rumor." A helicopter buzzes overhead like punctuation. Ava whispers, "I don't know who to believe anymore." Ethan answers, "Believe yourself first." She laughs bitter, "That's the hardest person to trust." He steps closer, umbrella useless against the drizzle. He says, "Let me hold some of the weight." She studies his face, searching for cracks, finding none. For a fragile second she leans into his chest, just enough to feel human. Lightning flares distant, mocking the moment like a warning siren. The next evening, Ava meets Luca in a deserted park lit by lamps. He says, "I broke the engagement." Her stomach knots. "You broke someone else instead," she says. He says, "I chose you." She replies, "You chose chaos." Wind rustles leaves like a restless audience. Luca steps closer, desperation etched in his eyes. "I can't breathe without you." Ava whispers, "You already taught me how to suffocate." A child's laughter echoes in the distance, haunting the silence. Luca says, "I don't care what it costs." She glares, "That's your curse." He reaches for her hand, but she pulls it into her coat pocket. He mutters, Wait." She says, "Wait in the ashes then." Her breath clouds white, floating between them like a barrier neither dares cross. Back at Maya's, Ava paces the living room, hair wild. She says, "He broke his engagement like it fixes anything." Maya says, "It proves nothing but desperation." Ava snaps, "What if he meant it?" Maya says, "Meaning doesn't erase damage." Silence tangles between them, until Ava blurts, "I feel split in half." Maya watches her carefully. "You keep choosing between fire and drowning," she says. Ava stops pacing, breath ragged. "And what if Ethan is the shore?" she whispers. Maya tilts her head. "Then let yourself rest on it." Ava collapses onto the couch, face buried in her hands. She says, I don't know who I am without this chaos. Maya sits beside her, hand resting steady. Then maybe it's time you find out, she says. Ava exhales, trembling, the storm still inside her. The night air trembles with unease as Ava steps into a dim lounge, whispers clinging to velvet walls. Jordan waits at the bar, glass in hand, smile sharp as a blade. He says, You should thank me. She replies, For what? Humiliation. His eyes glitter, for freedom. Luca's truth was going to surface. I just accelerated the collapse. Ava feels her chest tighten. She says, You enjoy ruins too much. He leans closer, voice low. I enjoy control. Her stomach knots, realization dawning like poison. She whispers, You leaked everything. He smirks. Someone had to light the match. Ava's hands tremble against the marble counter. Her voice cracks, You destroyed people's lives. Jordan shrugs, collateral. You'll forgive me when you realize I'm the only one who never lied. Her silence is an earthquake in miniature. Outside the lounge, Ava leans against a cold wall, breath jagged. Ethan approaches, coat collar up against drizzle. He says, What happened? She whispers, Jordan poisoned everything. Ethan's jaw sets. Tell me. She shakes her head, voice breaking. He leaked it all, every lie, every secret. Ethan says softly, Then he doesn't win if you don't let him. Ava bites her lip until she tastes blood. I am tired of being a headline. Ethan touches her shoulder gently. Then write your own story. She looks up, eyes glossy under neon. What if I ruin you too? She says. His reply is steady. I'll survive the ruin if it means standing beside you. For a moment, the night hums quieter, like the city itself holds its breath. The following day, Ava storms into Luca's rehearsal hall. Musicians scatter as her voice slices through. You knew he would do this. Luca drops his violin, face pale. He says, I didn't think he would. She spits, That's the problem. You never think until after the fire. He reaches for her, desperation dripping. I ended the engagement for you. She snaps, You ended someone else's life to fix your lie. His voice cracks, I am fighting for us. She shakes her head, tears unshed. You keep fighting battles I never wanted. Silence slams down heavier than applause. Luca whispers, I can't lose you. Ava says, You already did. She turns, and every step out of the hall feels like cutting free of invisible chains. That evening, Ava sits in Maya's apartment, tears she's held back finally spilling. Maya presses tissues into her hand. She says, You look broken. Ava whispers, Jordan lit the fire, but Luca built the house of lies. Maya strokes her back. You're still standing. Ava laughs bitterly. Barely. Maya says firmly, Barely is still standing. Ava drops her head into her hands. I'm exhausted by love that feels like war. Maya replies, Then stop going to battlefields. Ava whispers, And Ethan? Maya smiles faintly. He feels like peace. You just don't trust peace yet. Ava looks at her friend, heart aching. She says, What if I don't deserve it? Maya replies, That's the only lie bigger than his. Ava exhales, shaky, the truth sinking deep. Midnight on the rooftop where everything began. Ava stands alone, hair whipped by wind. The city blinks below like it doesn't care. Luca's voice breaks the quiet. I told the truth. The world knows now. She spins, fury sparking. You told half-truths. Jordan told the rest. He pleads, I only wanted you. She replies, You wanted possession, not love. Jordan steps from shadows, grin, sharp. See? She understands. Ava snaps, You're both liars. Luca growls. He used us. Jordan shrugs, I exposed you. Ava's chest heaves, the triangle of ruin complete. I am done being your battleground, she says, stepping back from both men. The city wind carries her words like shards of glass. Neither man follows, silence swallows them whole. The storm of betrayal grows louder inside Ava than the rain pounding outside. She sits across from Ethan, in a quiet diner booth, the neon buzzing like a wounded nerve. He says, "You're shaking." She mutters, "I don't know who I am anymore." Ethan's voice is steady, "You're someone worth more than scraps." She laughs bitterly. "Scraps are all I know." He leans in, lowering his tone. "Then, let me show you something different." Ava meets his gaze, and for a breath the chaos stills. Her phone buzzes with Luca's name, dragging her back into torment. She presses the screen face down, whispering, "I can't keep bleeding for him." Ethan says softly, "Then stop." For once, his words don't feel like suggestion, they feel like salvation. Ava closes her eyes, torn between ruin and refuge. Ava steps out of the diner, rain soaking her coat, only to find Luca waiting in the shadows, drenched but defiant. He says, "You can't keep running from me." Her breath stutters. "You've left me no place to run to." His voice breaks. "I gave up everything for you." She spits, "You gave up too late." Luca's eyes blaze, desperation choking him. "I can't lose you to him," he growls. Ava shakes, whispering, "You already lost me to yourself." Ethan appears behind her. Umbrella lifted, voice firm. "She doesn't owe you anything." Luca glares, fists clenched. Ava steps between them, heart splintering. "I am not a prize to win or lose," she cries. The rain drowns out every sound except her own ragged voice. Inside the storm of confrontation, Jordan emerges with a smug smirk, umbrella spinning like a prop. "Look at this tragedy," he says. Ava's voice sharpens. "You caused this." He shrugs. "I only revealed what they already were." Luca snaps. "You wanted her destroyed." Jordan sneers. "No, I wanted her free." Ethan tightens his grip on Ava's arm, steadying her. Ava says through clenched teeth, "You poisoned everything." Jordan leans closer, whispering like venom, "Sometimes poison kills the sickness." Her body trembles, torn between fury and collapse. She says, "You all keep writing my story, but none of you know my ending." Jordan smirks, "Then prove us wrong." Her chest rises, a storm fighting for breath. Hours later, Ava collapses onto her apartment floor, dripping rain, exhaustion anchoring her down. Maya rushes in, voice trembling. "What happened?" Ava whispers, "They're tearing me apart." Maya kneels, clutching her shoulders. "Then, stop letting them." Ava's tears mix with rainwater, lips shaking. "I can't choose. Choosing feels like killing one part of myself." Maya says firmly, "The only choice that matters is you." Ava grips her friend's hands. "I don't know if I'm strong enough." Maya locks eyes, unwavering. Strength isn't never breaking, it's breaking and still standing. Ava sobs, the truth finally cracking her chest. The silence afterward feels heavier than screams. Later that night, Ava stares out the window, city lights blurring into watercolor through glass streaked with rain. She whispers, "Love shouldn't feel like war." Ethan's message lights her phone, "I'll wait outside if you want peace." Luca's name hovers above another missed call. Jordan's smirk haunts her memory like smoke. Ava presses her forehead to the glass, whispering, "Who am I without all this chaos?" Her reflection looks back, fractured and tired. She says softly, "Maybe I don't need either of them." The city hums, indifferent but alive, as if daring her to finally stand for herself. Her breath fogs the glass, and for the first time she doesn't wipe it away. The city feels quieter than it should, dawn spilling pale gold over empty streets. Ava walks alone, her coat pulled tight, each step a negotiation with herself. "Me," she whispers, "I can't carry all of them anymore." Her phone buzzes with 3 names, Luca, Jordan, Ethan. She silences it, the screen fading like a dying star. A stray cat darts across the street, free in its direction. Ava mutters, "I want that kind of freedom." Her breath curls in the cold air. For once, she doesn't turn back, doesn't search shadows for someone following. The silence doesn't feel like abandonment anymore, it feels like possibility. She presses her hands into her pockets, shoulders heavy but her eyes lifted. Somewhere behind her, life still chases, but this morning belongs only to her. Later, Ava sits across from Ethan in a quiet cafe, sunlight streaming through cracked blinds. He says, "You disappeared this morning." She answers softly, "I needed silence." His jaw relaxes. "And did it give you peace?" She stirs her untouched coffee. "It gave me space." He studies her, then says, "I don't need your answer now. Just promise you'll keep choosing yourself." Her eyes meet his, a mixture of gratitude and guilt. She whispers, "You make it sound simple." He replies, "It is simple, but not easy." She breathes deeply, feeling both steadied and undone. For the first time, she doesn't rush to fill the silence. They both let it stretch, like a fragile bridge between them. That evening, Ava meets Luca by the riverbank where street lamps ripple in the water. His eyes look hollow, voice brittle. "I ended everything for you." She stares at the water instead of him. "You ended it when you lied." His hand twitches like he wants to reach her but can't. "I thought I could keep both worlds safe," he admits. Ava's voice sharpens, "And you destroyed both." He pleads, "I still love you." She whispers, "Love without trust is nothing but ruin." His breath falters, and for the first time he has no reply. She turns from him, her reflection breaking apart in the river, her steps steady against the echo of his silence. Maya's apartment feels like refuge again. Ava curls on the couch while Maya sets down tea. She says, "I told Luca it's over." Maya studies her carefully. "And how does that feel?" Ava swallows. "Like bleeding and healing at the same time." Maya nods. "That's how wounds close." Ava whispers, "What if Ethan wants more than I can give?" Maya shrugs softly. "Then you tell him the truth before it breaks you." Ava leans her head back, eyes burning with unshed tears. She says, "I don't know if I can love without destroying." Maya replies, "Maybe love isn't about saving or destroying. Maybe it's just choosing." Ava exhales, trembling, and for once the choice doesn't feel like a cage. Later that night, Ava walks alone across a pedestrian bridge. The city hums below, alive but indifferent. She leans on the railing, whispering to herself, "I am not their battlefield." Her phone buzzes in her pocket, names lighting the screen. She doesn't look. She closes her eyes, listening instead to the river's current. She says softly, "I choose myself." The words feel strange but real. Wind lifts her hair and the city lights blur into soft halos. For the first time in months, her chest doesn't feel like it's caving in. She exhales, long and heavy, the night carrying it away. She doesn't know what comes next, but for once she is not afraid to find out. The morning is crisp, sky pale with winter light. Ava walks through the park, leaves crunching underfoot, her breath white in the air. She whispers, "I don't belong to anyone anymore." A jogger passes, indifferent. She sits on a bench, shoulders finally loose. Ethan arrives quietly, no umbrella, no armor. He says, "I thought you'd vanish again." She replies softly, "I almost did." His voice is calm, "You're still here." Ava looks at him, heart both heavy and lighter. "I don't know if I can give you what you want," she says. Ethan shakes his head. "All I want is truth." For the first time, Ava doesn't look away. The silence between them feels like something that could grow, not something that crushes. Later that day, Luca waits by Ava's apartment building, hair unkempt, eyes red. When she approaches, he blurts, "I can't live without you." Ava stops, steady now. "You already proved you can." His voice cracks, "I ended my world for you." She shakes her head. "You ended it to protect your pride." Luca's hands tremble as he whispers, "Please, just tell me there's a chance." Ava steps closer, eyes sharp. There isn't. For the first time, her voice doesn't shake. Luca exhales, collapsing against the wall like a man cut down. She walks past him, heart breaking but unyielding, her steps echoing on wet pavement. At night, Ava finds Maya waiting with 2 glasses of wine. Maya grins faintly. So, did you finally burn the bridges? Ava sighs. I did more than burn them, I walked away. Maya lifts her glass. To walking away. Ava clinks gently, voice soft. To breathing again. They drink in silence, the weight of months finally shifting. Ava laughs suddenly, a sound unfamiliar but welcome. Maya says, "You sound alive." Ava replies, "I feel alive." Tears blur her smile, but they aren't bitter this time. Maya squeezes her hand, no words needed. The room glows with small lamps, clutter and comfort, and for the first time in a long time, Ava lets herself belong. Ava stands by the river again, the skyline glowing like fire across water. Ethan joins her quietly, hands in his pockets. He says, "You don't owe me anything." She replies, "I owe myself everything." His eyes soften, then choose what feels like peace. She studies him, the way he doesn't reach, doesn't demand. Her voice trembles. "I don't know if I'm ready for peace." He smiles gently. "Then I'll wait in the quiet." Ava exhales, watching their reflections ripple together. For the first time, the future doesn't feel like a cage. It feels like an unopened door. She doesn't step through yet, but she doesn't walk away either. In the final moments, Ava stands alone in her apartment, window open to the city's hum. She whispers, "I choose me." The words linger like prayer and rebellion. Her phone lights with names she doesn't touch. Instead, she turns off the screen and sets it down. She sips her tea, steam curling upward, vanishing into night. A single tear slides down, not of sorrow but release. The city outside pulses with indifferent beauty, but Ava finally feels strong enough to face it. She closes her eyes, whispering, "This is not the end. It's the beginning." The camera lingers on her silhouette against the glowing skyline as the story fades, her strength burning quiet but unshakable.